Good evening, everyone. Welcome to My Dear Business, My Dear Black Business. On this platform, I am Alicia. I will be discussing a lot of the things that we as business owners go through, some of the things that are just relatable amongst all business owners in general. And then also I'll key in on some of the things that I experience as a business owner who owns an event space, as well as of going into a business networking business. The first person I'm going to have on today is Manny Hall. Manny Hall is a branding coach. He is amazing at what he does. And so I'm super excited for him to jump on. He will be jumping on at 7 o'clock, so in a minute or so. Excuse me if you hear my dog. He is here running around. But I'm so excited to start this podcast because it's been a dream of mine to be able to host a platform where we can get like-minded individuals or just business owners who are looking to elevate themselves to the next level. And they just need those key parts when it comes to branding, when they need to know that knowledge, when they need to have some knowledge on how to do self-care to kind of get them out of those bumps and flows, ebbs and flows when it comes to being a business owner, and just having knowledge in general on how to reach capital, where to go for capital, what kind of networking systems that you need to be involved in with different people. So I'm super excited about this opportunity to do this. It's something I've prayed about. I've been writing in my journal about some of the goals and visions that I have for myself, and this was one of them. So this is something that I'm checking off my box that I want to do. And I know that if these are things that I needed to know as a business owner myself, I needed to learn and to be able to build a network of people around me who understood that and understood what I was going through and understood the tools that I needed to make myself not only a better person, but a better business owner. I feel like this is something that everybody can benefit from. So once I see that Manny has popped on, we will definitely start this interview. And I look forward to speaking with him. So just hang tight as we try to find him and get him on. So once he pop on, we will officially introduce him. I just sent his invite. Officially introduce him. Just talk to him about what he does and what his skill set is, and just go from there. It's quick 15-minute interviews that I will be doing with a lot of different business owners in a lot of different genres, and then as well as getting people on the platform who work with us as entrepreneurs and business owners and how to help us elevate ourselves, right? Because that's important. You don't want to stay in the same position that you were in a year ago, 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, right? You always want to be reading and educating yourselves for sure. Let's see if he's ready. I sent him another invite so we can get him on. So, I can introduce myself a little bit more while we wait. My name is Alicia Norris. I've been in business for about 5 years. I've been an event space owner for 2. We are having a 2-year anniversary on the 26th of November. So if you're in the Cleveland, Parma, Northeast Ohio area and you want to come out, there is a flyer in my profile, as well as there is a link in my bio that you can actually RSVP. You need to have an RSVP to come to the event on November 26th. Manny has popped on, so I'm going to bring him in so we can introduce himself, and get this started. Hang on one second. Okay, so I just invited him. Just invited you, Manny, to come on up. Let me know if you got the invite. So again, I'm super excited about what's to come with my business and what's to come with Dear Black Business in general, the platform, and where it's going to take us as a collective and just the knowledge that we'll receive from it. Trying to see what's going on and why he can't join. Oh, there you go. He's got a request. I accepted it. Let's see what happens. It says you're unable to join, Manny. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there we go.
Hi.
Hey, so I apologize for the Instagram world not allowing me on. So,
It's okay. I just introduced myself and kind of talked about the platform a little bit and
okay,
what to expect. So you're right on time.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Well,
Well,
thanks for having.
welcome to Dear Black Business. So I'll have you introduce yourself and we'll kind of go from there.
Absolutely. So, my name is Manny Hall. I am the owner of Manny Hall and Associates. It's a marketing agency that specializes in branding. And just to kind of start this conversation, I just want to make it clear that I'm not the traditional marketing guy. Like, it's really unorthodox, and some of the stuff that you might hear tonight, based off of these questions, you're going to see that, oh, like this is a different way to do it. But it's so much success. I'm driven from this type of approach to branding because I really dig into like who this entrepreneur is behind the scenes so that we can improve that person so that they show up in a more meaningful way.
Perfect. So I know as a business owner, sometimes brands can lack in the beginning when you're starting out, not only because just we don't have the knowledge on how to do it or how to do it successfully. So if you were giving advice to just out there to the universe with business owners who aren't really knowledgeable about branding and how to do it, what would be like 4 steps that you would say would be the key parts that you would need to start branding yourself as your business?
Oh, this is a good question. So I would say first, you really gotta get to a place of like knowing the difference between what you know that you've been called to do and like a regular vocation. Because a
Ooh.
lot of times we get into different businesses simply because this is an opportunity to make money,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not mad at that. But this is why you don't keep going. This is why, like for me, I joined like 2 or 3 network marketing companies back in the day. And then I did credit and I wanted to do real estate and I wanted to do all these things because I really had no idea what I was actually called to do. And it's this right here that I'm really called to do, but it took some time to get there. Another thing that I would really highly suggest that every business owner does is really take a step back and see like, am I really ready to go to this next level? Because you're not going to be able to start the business and keep your same friendships, keep your same mindset, keep your same discipline, keep your same habits, and be highly successful. So it's
It's
like
not gonna work.
it's not gonna work. It's like you really gotta ask yourself because, like for the longest, y'all, I was the stopgap. I was the reason that the business wasn't successful, and I kept looking around like, wait a
That's
minute,
hard for people to understand. Like, it's me.
it's
It's not
me.
your market. It's you.
All day, every day. So the other thing that I would really consider is like, okay, what is the business model going to be for my business? Although there are talented other people in the same industry doing what you do, and I know it's very, very easy to kind of peek over at their page and see how they're doing things on their social media, how they're emailing, how their business practices is, and you want to try to steal their whole thing and then be like, okay,
Right.
I'm gonna adopt the same thing in my business. But it doesn't always work like that. So it's like taking a step back and maybe taking a couple ideas from multiple people and getting some coaching, getting some mentorship, getting some guidance. Because if you're that person that thinks you have all the answers, you're not going to be
You ain't
successful.
got the answer, Sway.
You don't. You don't. And then I would say number 4 really would be to get around some good people. Like
Hmm.
not just your coaches and mentors, but like other business owners that you can collab with and talk to and really become friends with. And interestingly enough, I'll say 90 to 95% of the clients that I've ever saw, I would be friends with them. It's
That,
it's so weird the way it happened. It's like
that
we
makes
just
it
vibe
easy
and click.
though. Like it's
Yeah.
easier to connect when somebody's like, I could see myself being a
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
And that's how I think what helps me out in my business so much. it's being relatable, but
Hmm.
also positioning myself for people to know who I am. And
Yep.
that's something that I've been working on because you guys, I'm an introvert. I
Yeah.
struggle with people in all the time.
Yep.
But to be able to, for them to get to see a role like into who I am for real, they see like, oh, she cool. Like
Yes.
I
Yep.
will rock with her. I will be her friend. I will go to her house.
Yep.
Like that. And I
Exactly.
feel like you bring people in that way
Yep.
and they kind of connect with you more. So that was something that I'm still working on, y'all. I don't have it
Absolutely.
all together. I don't. But that's something that I do as well. And then like when you go into branding, what would you say when it comes to like, you know how people say like your personal brand and your business brand sometimes people like to keep them separate, but
Hmm.
at the same time they end up marrying each other anyway. So
Yeah.
what would be something that you would tell people about when it comes to branding themselves into their business?
Yeah, I would say that right now, at this stage in the game, especially if you're a beginner, nobody cares anything about your company. And it's cool to create a logo and get a website and all those other things, but it's just like you have to understand that since you're the face of it, it's
Mm-hmm.
highly important that you start to brand yourself and realize that your personal brand is actually much more important in the beginning stages than your business brand. Once the business have has established itself, then it kind of has legs and feet of its own that it can stand on. But in the beginning stages, it's going to be very hard to bring any traffic in if you're not the person that's the forerunner. So
Right.
this is why I always suggest to every business owner to like really start working on your personal brand. It's a really great book, y'all, that y'all can check out if you like Audible. It's on Audible. It's called Key Person of Influence. And this book, y'all, has been cracking my head for the past couple of weeks as soon as I got hip to it, because it's like telling you that your personal brand matters much more than your business.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about companies like Tesla, it's Elon Musk, when you even think
Mm-hmm.
about the Muppet Babies, it's Kermit the Frog, y'all.
Right.
It always has to be like this face, this brand that's really
Mm-hmm.
representing the company. So I would highly suggest to really build both at the same time, but realize that things like personal development is highly, highly important. And I know that we as business owners, we're tired of people hearing about mindset and I gotta read books. I don't want to read books. I hate books. Okay, I get
I
it.
hate books.
Chill out. I ain't about to, don't attack me. But just realize that this saying of like cliche knowledge is power, it really, really is, y'all.
Absolutely.
Like the person that you're looking at right now is simply because I've tapped into something different by reading books, by listening to books. Did I enjoy reading the books all the time? Absolutely not, because I'm not a nerd like that. I don't like books just to read them. But I know if it got something inside of it that's going to help me advance and become a
For
better
sure.
person, then I'm on it.
Do it
And
for the
here,
end goal.
oh, come on now, and it's like at the end of the day, I also want to make sure that this is noted. When you're a business owner, it's highly important to develop yourself in all of these different areas. So when you think about the foods that you're eating, the stuff that you're drinking, when you think about the books that you're reading, the mindset, who you're talking to, all of this stuff ends up impacting your business much more than you even realize it. So it's
Absolutely.
like now building the personal brand with the business brand, you're working on your systems behind the scenes, your operations, you're improving things, you're making sure that you're legit, you got your trademark, all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, this person,
It's
that person has
falling apart.
fallen apart. And it's like you got to build that person up.
Absolutely. And I know that's something that I'm still working on
Me
too,
too.
is being able to operate like that. But it's like when you follow a lot of like billionaires and millionaires, nine times out they're like, oh, I don't have time to watch TV. I don't have time
Right.
to do this. It's because I'm focusing on this. I need to work on who I am,
Yeah.
and I need to go to my yoga classes. I need
Yeah.
to go to my
Yeah.
exercise classes.
And
I
you
have
know
my
what's
diet,
weird?
and it's a lot, but it works.
It really does, Alicia. And I wanted to make sure I said this part because I've been thinking about it. Years and years ago, when I thought about being at this place, I really envisioned myself being able to eat a big thing of ice cream, eat some peanut butter crunch, have my chips and my dip sitting there, and I'm just watching TV for
And making
hours
money and
because,
thinking that's okay.
yeah, because I arrived at this point like I'm a successful business owner. I should be able to
I
chill
made it.
now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't even have those same desires that I used to have. Like
Mm-hmm.
things have like really shifted. Like the stuff that I'm into is like other stuff. Like maybe it's because I'm getting older than 40. I don't know. But it's just like I
The
like
drive
going
is
to
different.
Yeah, it really, really is.
I understand that for sure because it's like now that I've been working on me and it's like reading the books and doing the work for my personal brand. It's like for me, I don't really. I'm like, no, that might mess me up. I got something I need to do. I need to do that. What is the name? Oh, she said, what is the name of the book again?
A key person of influence. Key person of influence. It'll crack your head. It This would really mess me up, y'all. This would really mess me up. Dude said the people that's struggling and barely making it, they working real hard and they still ain't successful. But
That's like that rat wheel.
you got all these successful people, they're not even working that hard like we are, y'all.
That makes you mad. Like you think when you think about it, it's like just think about your past generations, like your families, and how hard they've worked, and like how you've seen them break their backs
Yeah.
in, month out to make bills meet, and they're still not where you thought they would have been, or they're not where they thought they would be when it comes to cashing in their 401k, getting their
Yep.
SSI, and it's just like, or their Social Security, and it's just
Yep.
like the math ain't mathing.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes though, honestly, that equates with fear for me.
Yeah.
Like to me, because it's like they're comfortable in that position. Never, I'm not gonna tell
Mm.
nobody to quit their 9 to 5, but
Yeah, for
they
sure.
get comfortable in those 9 to 5s, right? And they get comfortable with those steady paychecks. But then you also limiting yourself
Yeah.
sometimes as well. And I feel like we don't know how to grow past that.
Mm.
And like I know this is kind of off subject, but even when you start your business sometimes and you're trying to brand yourself and you're trying to be out there, sometimes you get a lot of naysayers and that's their fear. And you have to close them off, just like how
Yeah.
he's saying, change your personal brand, change
Yeah.
what you do, change what you listen to. Sometimes that includes family and friends.
And Alicia, you just said something, and we got to go here because we said we was gonna have a discussion tonight.
This
That's
is
what we
true, we
said we
did.
was gonna do. So when you really think about becoming a successful person, you keep thinking that you're gonna bring the old you
You're
with
gonna pull
you.
them and you're gonna pull people with you. That's what we
You're
think.
not. It's not gonna happen. Like and the truth of the matter is, the more successful you become, you literally are taking layers off of this from this old person that you used to be because
Absolutely.
that person doesn't deserve to be in the future with you. That person lazy, that person ain't got no discipline, that person eating crazy.
Sometimes that's why we stuck. That's why we
That's
stuck
and that's the
in the
thing.
level of business that we are is because we can't let that part go.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't let, okay, I can't pull my friends along.
Yeah.
I can't hire them even though I really will want to hire them
Yeah.
because of the respect level, because we're close friends, or just that their work ethic isn't where I
Yeah.
need it to be. When you
Yeah.
start growing and you notice other people's worth ethic,
Yeah.
sometimes it's harder to continue to have them in your circle and have them in that part of your life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you gotta let them go, but
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta let them go in this part, in this sector of your life.
But I think like especially within our community, like we're so loyal that it
Mm-hmm.
becomes like a deterrent in our life. Like you so loyal to your friend and you don't want to be perceived as a person that's acting
That
funny.
made it and left people
Right,
behind.
that you won't even allow yourself to be successful because it's like they're literally bringing you down. You keep going back to the hood. You
Mm-hmm.
keep going back to old conversations. And you even know, like, at this stage of the game that you don't even talk like that no more. But you're like, no, but I want to seem down. I want to seem relatable. I want to seem like this. But it's just like, them people broke and it's almost like a virus.
And then let something come out where you and that messed up your brand because you was
Yeah.
caught somewhere you shouldn't
Yep.
be
Yep.
doing something you shouldn't do because you want to hang with your friends, and that just mess up your brand. Like we've seen it time and time again, just in the industry and on news.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
like where somebody says something, Kyrie and Jen, like it
Yeah.
right here, you say
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that might not be right or acceptable to others, and you can lose
Mm-hmm.
everything. So you always have to be mindful of who you have in your circle, what they're doing, even
Absolutely.
in your circle, because they're going to be attached to you. They act a fool, they're gonna be like, oh no, she rock with that person. That's that person's friend, and it totally can bring you down. But it's not like you don't love them. But at some point, it's just like, I need to let this go for me to be a better
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, yeah. At least for certain seasons, because
Mm-hmm.
I knew the old me like couldn't be here. I
Right.
knew that. So there was a lot of friendships that I had to let go or put on hold simply because I couldn't. It wasn't even so much even taking them with me. Like I knew that if I continued talking to them a few times a week, I was never gonna reach my goals because that's not what they was on.
Or they wouldn't understand it anyway. So it'd be a whole nother emotional baggage of feeling guilty or them being mad at you, resentment, just energies that you do not need around you
Yeah.
when you're trying to grow. For sure. I
Facts.
think branding in general is just like a whole like revamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a whole person. Like you need to
Yeah.
do some self-reflection.
Straight up. Straight up. And I think that people they hate that part of the conversation when even working with me because it was like, hey, so what's going on with you? It's like, no, man, like this ain't you ain't. I don't
This
need
ain't
a life coach,
that.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, I know I don't want to be a life coach, but you gonna be the person who's gonna mess the brand up. Well, how can I do that? If you're
You can't
not
say I was your
disciplined, you're
coach and you
not
sit up here
following
messing
up
up
with
the
people, you're
brand.
not emailing, you're not communicating with people, you stuck up, you got an attitude, you not talking like how's anybody gonna find out about your business? And they're like, well no, I got a really great product. It's like, yeah, but we don't
But
care
how
about
would
your
they
really great
know if they
product.
have to go through all of those obstacles to get to you,
Yeah,
or they once they get to you and they feel your energy and feel how you are, they
yeah,
might have purchased that one time, but 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna come back.
yeah, facts.
And I really feel like that is part of why, because I don't have, like I always tell people, I don't have the biggest event space.
Mm,
I might not even have the most glamorous event space, but what I hold is my personal brand. And
mm,
my personal brand brings people back constantly,
mm.
bring people
Love
back
it.
spending money and 5 figures at
Yeah,
my event space,
yeah,
and like
yeah,
because
yeah.
of who I am. And
Mm,
while other people might be confused about it, it's just know that it's God. Like it's God. Like,
yeah, straight up,
you
right,
can't touch what He's done.
right.
You can question it all you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But at the same time, like what I've accomplished and what I'm trying to accomplish in the future, I'm really proud of. So.
I love that. And I mean, and to that same point, you could have individuals that got a bigger space,
Hmm.
more prettier, more this, but ain't nobody bucking, and they still can't
And they
understand.
wonder why. Mhm. And sometimes I go into processes and your back office too, because it could be confusing for some
Yeah.
people sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that's something that I know y'all don't. I didn't tell you guys, but he's also my branding coach. Like he's been helping me out a lot. Amazing. Book
I
him if you need
appreciate
him.
it.
But like sometimes though the way you operate your business, sometimes that can be a whole nother like.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't think I want to work with them. They don't seem legit. They don't seem this. They don't have it together. So not only does your personal brand have to be in par, but make sure that back office and stuff that you're doing is effective for real.
Absolutely, for sure, for sure.
So do you have anything else before we start wrapping this up? Because I know we're only going to do 15 minutes. I don't want to hold you up too much.
Oh
Do you
no,
have anything that you would
I'm
say?
good. I'll say this that on these lives I've been lately trying to like monitor my like go in level because like I end up going in and then it's like, dag, okay, like bring it back, man,
Pull it back.
bring
I'm
it
real.
back.
Sometimes I'll go on tangents and I can get brutally honest. And sometimes my words are not the
Yeah,
prettiest. And
right,
no, I'm
right,
not sitting up here cussing, but how I
right.
express myself, is not
Yeah,
always
yeah,
dainty. So, cause I feel like sometimes you got to give it to them real. Like this is what it
absolutely,
is.
absolutely.
So I'm totally the same way, but I'm trying to be good because it's my first one on this platform. I want to behave. I want
Oh
people
no, and
to
you're doing great. You're doing great. But I think
I
that
want them to come back for sure. So I know I have one last question that I
yeah.
wanted to ask you, and you can kind of word it however you want. But this is a question because I am Dear Black Business. I love Letter to Success. This is something that I hold passionately and close to my heart. Is always having a journal, writing the vision, making it plain, so you can always go back in the past and kind of and look at what you wrote about and see what you accomplished. If you haven't accomplished it, what's stopping you from accomplishing it? Because that's something that I think helps us. Because for me, I have so many ideas all the time. They kind of just come and go, and I always keep my journal next to me. And if you do not write in a journal, I suggest that you do start writing in a journal. Solely just about your business. You can have another journal about personal writing and all of that. I speak in both of them because power of the tongue is very important. Writing out your visions and making them plain is very important. But my question to you is, I wrote it down because I want to say it correctly.
Mhm.
As a business owner, if you were writing in your journal,
what pep talk or words of encouragement would you tell yourself at this present day?
This is good. Now let me think about this just for a second. I want to make sure it's a good one.
Like for me, I cried when I really thought about it. I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, yeah. um, I would say just like this, bro. You so close. Like, and I would shake my head like this in the journal. If
Shaking my
I put
head.
that into the words, I'd be like, just don't stop right now because you're
Mm-hmm.
so close. Because one of the challenges for me, if I can be real as an entrepreneur, has like always been that thought of me before I got here. I always thought like, and when I get there, I'm gonna be like, F everybody that ain't support me. I'm here now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look at me.
I
And it
did
was,
it.
it was right. I did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of like arrogance inside, and I was like just chilling and kind of laid back. But now that I'm here, I often back at that past and it's like, dang, I really can't be that person no more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bit of sadness attached to it, honestly, Alicia, because it's like I kind of missed that other Manny.
Mm-hmm.
That was the homie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was rooting him on, like to get to this place,
Right.
but now I have to detach from him. So I would say, bro, like you so close. Like don't even think about this other person because we as business owners really have to stay focused on the person that we want to become. We can't think about the past. We can't even really think about the present so much, even though we should be in that present moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have our mind not necessarily in the future, but always into this person that we want to become.
Right.
And when we do that successfully on a consistent basis, then you start to really transform into this amazing person seemingly overnight simply because you're taking on behavior and characteristics of this person
Right.
versus being like the old person. Because the old person don't be want to do nothing. They just want to
Listen,
chill.
you were comfortable being in that seat. You were comfortable, you know. Stop, Kobe. You were comfortable. Sorry, guys. You're comfortable just sitting in who you were because
Yeah.
sometimes that's easier. Like you have to challenge yourself when you're growing, and like I know sometimes we'll have a conversation and you question me. I'm like, oh my god, like. Ugh. But for me personally, that's exactly it. Like I was comfortable in my introvert like stage, like I don't really feel like people in today. I don't,
Yeah.
but I know that's a stage that I have to shed. Like I have to be able to shed it enough so where I can get what I need to get done. Then I'm probably gonna go back and I'm probably gonna need a couple of hours to kind of regroup and vent. Like don't talk to me for a little bit.
Right, right, right.
But it's absolutely it's real. And as I'm growing in business, I noticed some things about myself, like, well, I can't be sitting on the phone. I can't have these conversations with mommy. Even my mommy, you can't call me all types of day because I
Right.
got to write this. Like, I love you, but we
Uh-huh.
cannot be on the phone while you at work all day. So
Right.
it's little things like that we have to, like, identify. And for me, I said, like, okay, what am I doing throughout the day that's hindering me from doing what I need to do? And that was watching so much TV because I work from home most of the time. Once I get the kids, it was like, okay, I have at least a 5-hour block of time where I can be accomplishing so much, but I've only done these things. I know I could get more done. So I had to reevaluate.
Yeah.
And it's hard
Yeah.
because you got to acknowledge how lazy you have been.
That's good.
So, and nobody wants to say I'm lazy, but yeah, when it comes to a business, okay. So how did I shed it? Honestly, I haven't shedded it all the way. It might look like I have, but I think when you get into a space where you know what you're confident and you love what you do, it's so much easier to be out in the forefront. So for me personally, I'm really good at customer service. I'm really good at knowing contracts and all those things and event planning. That was something that I was good at. So me being able to talk about those things, it's like being able to do it with my eyes closed. So for me, I'm confident in it. So it's not necessarily that I shed it, my introvert self, but it's that I'm so confident in what I do that I can speak about it, knowing like just out and open, it is not being a problem. But if you would probably meet me in person, I'm a little bit more quieter and I'm not so much outspoken, but I will speak to you for sure. but I'm probably need a minute. And yeah.
And that's good. I'm glad that you answered it that way because the reality is like I'm also an introvert. And I'm that person that once I have a business meeting, I'm like, I don't need to
It's
look at
like
people
on.
for a few hours. Like, I'm done, you know? But at the same time, I know when to allow my gift to come alive for the people that it's needed for. And that gives me energy. That
Yes.
gives me that enthusiasm. And it's like to your point, Alicia, about like you just walking into who you are,
Hmm.
this is really my superpower. It's like tapping into who I know that God called me to be right from the beginning of time. Like
Hmm.
he said, I was made his image and likeness. So if I call God all of these amazing characteristics, how dare me walk like I'm some
Like
peasant?
with your head down, like you're not supposed to be that person.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like this is why I'm very intentional about every single
Right.
time somebody has an opportunity to hear me speak, to see me. My
Hmm.
posture has to be a certain way. I have to make sure that I'm talking a certain way because here's my opportunity to impact your life in some type of way.
That's
Maybe just
absolutely
with a smile, maybe with some corny joke that I just said, whatever. But it's like I really want to have that opportunity to make that impact. So it's like I show up that way all the time.
absolutely. And I think somebody said they're scared to be in front of the camera. I would suggest, and this is what I've done as an introvert. I recorded for a while. Like I didn't do lives for a minute. I did like I was more comfortable in doing reels because I can kind of edit them, look
Yeah,
at them, kind of change things. And I think once you get used to just being in front of the camera, that way it's so much easier to hit live and to be able to speak. And I would say you're human. Don't be afraid of like not pronouncing a word right or forgetting a word or messing up on a sentence because at the end of the day, like your point will still be made,
yeah,
and grace should be given at all times in anybody's
for
life.
sure.
So give yourself grace when it comes to starting to being able to walk in that because that will take a little bit of time.
That's a really good point. And I think that along with that is falling more deeply in love with yourself.
For sure.
Like being able to like look at the camera that's looking at you and you see this handsome bald guy with a beard. And you're like, man, that dude
Stop.
look good. And you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have that as a woman, black woman. Man, she beautiful.
Hmm.
And some people might feel that that's facetious, but it's just like, no, this is the way it needs to be. I'm mesmerized at what God made.
Absolutely.
I'm mesmerized at this amazing gift that's inside of me. So it's like as you fall in love with what somebody else made that you get a chance to use
To
every
live and
day.
use for yourself.
Come
Listen,
on.
and don't be listen. There, I did a reel. I think when I first got into this, doing reels and all this stuff, I said, you know what? For the last couple of weeks, I didn't feel pretty. Like I was just like, I don't want to get in front of the camera because I'm not confident in who I am. Do something about it. Like that's where that whole
Mm,
changing your patterns. Like you might not be able to do it all the time, but go do
yeah.
something to your hair. Go put
Mm,
on some whatever makes you
yeah.
feel confident in yourself.
Fact,
Sometimes you have to make yourself do
fact.
that to give yourself that confidence and that extra boost to get to where you need to be.
That's a
That's
great
it.
point. That's a great point because even me as a man, if I don't shave and the hair gets all up here and I'm looking crazy, and then since I'm bald headed, I obviously lost my hair, y'all. If I don't cut it and it's looking crazy, Alicia, I don't feel
You
confident.
don't feel like getting in
I
front of the camera. I can't
I'm
do it.
like,
I'm not as confident as some people. I am just like,
hmm
I don't know if that's just like the introvert in me. I'm like, I already don't want to do this. But if I'm gonna do this, I've got to look okay.
you gotta look okay. And I
It got to
think
look
that
okay.
that's that part that I hope you guys really understand. And please stay on for the live for at least the next 2 minutes while I make this point, please, so you can hear this. This is the reason why brand development, personal development is so important to grow your business. Because part of the reason why you ain't showing up is you don't even like you. And you got a whole lot
That's
of
a
reasons.
hard thing to hear.
It's a hard thing to hear, but it's like since you don't like you, you thinking
You
ain't
not showing
nobody
up for
else gonna
you.
like you.
Absolutely. That's
You're
why
not
I didn't want to get in the front of the camera because I don't like
because you thinking like ain't nobody gonna like looking at this dude. Look at he looking horrible right now. I don't like
exactly.
this myself. But as you start making them changes, and you start to fall in love, like when I start working out more consistently, here's what happened. I started losing weight. I started getting skinnier. I started losing weight. And I'm like, man, this is not working. I would come home, get in the shower, come out the shower like, oh, that's what we doing now, bro. I see you, bro.
Confidence is
You know,
everything.
when you have that because you like what you see, when you have that, when you looking at your business, you like, oh no, this business is for real legit. Like, look at the way I'm helping people. Look at the way that my product is changing somebody's life. Look at the way that my customer service is. It literally is impacting and helping people. I know it's so good, I don't mind talking about it more. But you've been real silent within your business because you know it ain't good. And it's harsh, y'all. It's harsh to say it like that. And I
Why
know
are
you're
you
like,
giving it to the people like
well,
that?
Manny, who the heck you think you are? And some of y'all dropping off because like, I don't like the way he just tried to say that to me like that. But here's the honest truth. Somebody has to tell you what's really missing within your brand. Otherwise, you're going to continue to do these same patterns and you're going to be looking around and wondering why everybody else is successful except for me. God, I've been praying and asking for this
But
blessing
you
for
got to
the
be
past 10
mentally ready
years.
to
And
receive
keep
it.
like, man, I've been telling you how to grow the business,
I've
but you
been
ain't want to
knocking
do
on
that.
that door. But if you're not mentally ready to receive it and change anything that's given to you out of constructive criticism to help you do better, you're not going to receive it. So you have to be in that mindset of I'm ready to change. I want to move up. What do I got to be hungry for? What do I have to do?
What I gotta
What
do.
do I need? What do I need to
What I gotta
change?
do.
You need to tell me
What,
I need to fix my personal brand. How do I fix my personal brand?
come
Walk
on.
me through it. I got to start talking to people. I don't want to, but
Right.
okay, I'm going to start talking to people.
Right. And you know what's so deep about that? Let's go Bible real quick. I remember the gentleman in the Bible. I don't know what his name was, but he came up on Jesus' head. Hey, look, bro, I believe, but help my unbelief.
Mm-hmm.
And what he
Help
was
show me.
basically saying is like, I got a little bit of faith, but I need a little bit more in this particular area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're being man, you're being woman enough to admit that there are
Absolutely.
certain things about your business that you just don't know. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to grow. You don't know how to do the sales. You don't know how to be a CPA and do your taxes effectively. But you got this like superhero mentality inside of you that you got to save the world in every area of your business. No, you don't. You can get a team of people that can help you get there. But it's first you at least admitting that there's some things that I need to
That I
work.
can't really do. And that's okay. We just had this conversation, and sometimes too, what hinders us is that we're afraid to let the reins go.
Mm,
And you cannot grow your business if you're constantly in your business. And
mm,
that's something I used to say all the time. How do I need to not be in my business. I need
mm,
to be out of my business. So then I'm free enough to do something else. Because
mm.
out of every business, you can at least have 2 to 3 streams of income if you know how
Sure.
to work it correctly.
For
So it's
sure.
like, how do I get this working correctly? How do I get a team to operate it so it can go by itself and I can still step away and do what I need
Mm.
to and know that that's going to work?
Yep. Yep. And you know what? And it's like I want to say this to our people. So if you're Caucasian, if you're Hispanic, if you're Indian, Samoan, whatever, I'm only talking to the black folks just for like 1.5 minutes.
Oh.
Coming back to you. Like if it inspires and motivates you, great. But I'm only talking to them real quick. Alicia, I'm just so troubled sometime with our people because like we know the dynamics that we're in inside of this country,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like we're still waiting for a handout. We're still waiting on somebody to come save the day for
We don't
us.
know how to be a collective.
And obviously you're gonna have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, getting out of your comfort zone, but also to your point, Lisa, is like collabing with other people and
Mm-hmm.
saying, look, I got this skill. What
You
you got?
need this.
Well, I can do this. Well, give me some of that, and I'll give you some of this. And hey, why don't all of us work together like the other cultures do?
Right.
Because they be building wealth. They be building
Barter,
so
and
many.
listen, bartering amongst other in a network of team, you don't have to barter with everybody, and everything doesn't have to be free. But
Yeah,
at the same time, you understand what your need is and what their need is, and if you guys can kind of swap or make some type of deal
yeah,
where, okay, I know we're still both trying to start out. How can we make this work, and how can I help you build? Because I know I have this. Let's do this together. And I just being real about this. Like, yes, like being able to have a collective group where you're like, okay, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Who needs this? Okay, you need this. What do you have to offer?
yeah,
I need a little bit of that. How
yeah,
can we collab? Or how can
yeah,
I mix a little bit of what you got with what I got?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you don't necessarily need them to teach you, but could you do it? and I do this for you. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. Because everybody ain't meant to do everything. You ain't meant to do everything. You can try to be a graphic designer in the beginning of your business because you can't afford it. But at some time, you have to let that go if that ain't you.
Absolutely.
Which is where I'm at. I'm about to let it go.
And and it's like, to your point about like having some value to add to this collective group. Like some of y'all that's watching right now, y'all might say like, you know what? I always see this other person on Alicia's page. I always see this person on my page. I'm about to reach out to them and see what they up to. I'm about to collab with them. I'm about to talk to them because if you have this like bro man from the fifth floor mentality where you coming to get a sandwich from somebody
and you ain't leaving nothing,
then people don't want to keep dealing with you. Bring something to the table.
A little something, at least.
A little something. And
we can help you build, but just a little.
Just a little something, please.
All you need is a little bit of faith.
The other thing that you end up doing is you start to attract the right people to you.
Absolutely.
And then now they're looking at you and saying, oh, this person constantly growing. They always talking about the book they're reading. They always going to some conference and working on their personal development and trying to eat right and do this stuff. Like the stuff that me and Alicia talking about, like we don't try to eat right and exercise because it's so fun. It's for the brand. If I could have my way, I would be 500 pounds. If it wasn't going to affect my brand whatsoever, I would literally stay at home and become 500
I will be
pounds.
on the Stairmaster. This is for this next 6 figures. Like that. Like, this is for that $20,000 contract. Like that's what it is. If that's what you need to motivate yourself. After a while, it will become a habit.
Yeah.
But if that's what you need to motivate yourself to be able to grow, baby, do whatever it needs mentally to help yourself. Because I be on
really do. You really do. And it's like that's my motivation. It's the brand. It's taking care of my family. It's really that purpose inside of me.
Not having them want for anything is it.
Come on. And I think that if we as Black folks, as Asians, as Hispanics, white folks, everybody, if we now just I don't know how else to say it, but just stop this bad belief system that somebody's gonna hand this to you. Like they can't. And you've seen horror stories. They won't either. And you've seen horror stories of like really wealthy families, and it's the trust fund babies, and the father is so pissed like Richard just hasn't done anything for the past 20 years. It's like, well, what's wrong? It's like I gave him $500 million and told him to just start something, and he's like been traveling around the world spending all the money, he hasn't done anything. And it's
that's the life I want to be able to give somebody one day.
Man, but you know what? The crazy part is it's crazy because in Think and Grow Rich, it kind of tells this story about this little boy that was kept in this like big house for all of his life. He had guards, he had servants and maids. And one day the ball ended up going across the street. And he had no concept of like cars going by and what to do. So he got hit by a car and died.
Jeez.
But it's like on the flip side, you got this person that don't have a lot. Maybe they're struggling, but they didn't taught their kids the game.
Oh, absolutely.
From the street
all
perspective.
of them got to be some baby entrepreneurs in some way. You have to understand. It's hard to understand if you don't see it, the grind that an entrepreneur goes through. It's hard to be in that space with them. Like the conversations that we have, it won't click. You won't understand. You won't get it. Like, so sometimes that's definitely a kind of a language barrier when it comes to having friends that aren't entrepreneurs. That's why I always say, get you a network of entrepreneurs who don't understand the ebbs and flows. And they end up becoming your besties, or at least your accountability partners who won't call you and say, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. Right. And that's sometimes what we need.
Right. Man, so true. Alicia, I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
Just so like everybody can kind of understand. That like when you and I had our first initial conversation, like talk me through that experience, like kind of some of your thoughts that you had. And I wanted to ask you this a long time ago anyway, but now I can't ask you here live. So like, what was it like? Dang, I didn't expect it to be like this.
Yes,
Okay.
at some point, because I've worked with a branding coach before, but it was more just about the business. It wasn't about my personal, right? My personal brand, and that was something that I know I definitely was lacking on, because for me, I have all the processes,
Yep.
the SOPs in place, and all of those
Yep.
things. But
Yep.
for me, it's like, okay, I was afraid to get in front of the camera a lot of times, and you were more so like, Alicia, this is what we need to talk about. What's going on with the personal brand? And I was like, and it brought a lot, not necessarily fear, but it was more of a challenge. Like, okay, this Manny is about to challenge me to better who I am, and to better the person that I'm trying to become, because I can't be where I want to be if I'm not willing to shake this up a little bit
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it comes to my habits. So when I first met you and we started our first conversation, you were super cool. You were like, okay, well, that's great. That's awesome. But what you got going on personally? I was like, oh, my day's been great. I did this with the business. No. What did you do today? And I'm like, well, I walked my dog. Like, but it challenged me to be more, see the word I'm using, to be more effective with my time, and to be more purposeful in what I'm doing throughout the day. And the crazy thing is, Manny, I don't think I ever told you this. We tell our daughter every day before she gets out the car to go to school, be great on purpose. So, and we've been saying that to her. My husband came up with it, I think maybe in second grade. So it's always been, and even her teachers now say it to students, like, be great, and they'll say on purpose. So, like, it's just being like, taking that time and actually like living the life that you want to live, and doing it purposefully, and being great at it. Like, it might not be the best, but be great at what you can do right now. And for me, it was getting up, setting my alarm, going to work out like I said I was going to do, drinking my water, eating right, and doing my readings and stuff. Like, so for me, that's my being great on purpose for today. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be able to steer me in the right direction.
That's dope. That's dope. And I think too that, contributing this to you and your hard work, all this money keep coming into business like crazy. And I'm just like, I wonder if Alicia wasn't working on herself, what would be happening?
Listen, okay, I'm gonna tell you, I'm be honest with you, man, real quick. So, right. Sorry, my dog turned off my light. So I've always I've been trying, but it was like just the push of, Alicia, you really need to be consistent with it. Because I think as business owners, we start, or even on our personal brand, like even when it comes to diets or working out, okay, we're gonna start it first of the year. You get in it, you get into it, you see a little bit of an increase or a boost, and then all of a sudden you stop and you slack. But for me, the energy is different this time, and I can only attribute it to having these conversations with you, and like really identifying, like, Alicia, if you change these things, the more can come. What you're asking for, what you're praying for, can come. And like, the idea's been flowing. I know we've been talking about them, and I'm just like, me sitting still and taking that moment to start praying again, and writing in my journal. Things are just starting to sit in my spirit, and it's like, okay, you got to do something with them. And I think sometimes you start getting uncomfortable if you don't do nothing with them. Like, you start feeling like, I got to do something with this idea. So that's where I'm at.
I love it. I mean, and straight up, like, kudos to you for putting in the work, because I think I might have told you this on one of our calls. I've had people come to me and say, look, I ain't ready for this. So you keep the money, man. I'm gonna be back soon. I
Because it
mean,
challenges you. It totally challenges you.
it really do. It
And
really do. And it's
self-reflection
like,
is real. And if you're not ready to self-reflect, don't do it.
that's what I'm saying. And I've had people literally that I start to feel bad about it, because I'm just like, I owe y'all service that you won't even let me help you.
You're just giving me money.
You like, here, man, take this. I'm like, but where you going? It's like,
They're giving you a
I'll be
love
back in a few
offer.
months. Not right. I can't. I'm like, why not? Let's just do a little bit. It's like, man, no.
Especially, I think once you really get into it and you start the work, the challenges are going to come, and then the accountability is going to be there. And that's something that you have to be ready for, right? That accountability aspect of personal branding is, okay, I know I said I was going to do this. Well, you have to have an answer. Why aren't you doing that? What's holding you back from doing that? And then you would have to be honest with yourself that I'm being lazy, or I'm not putting in the work that I need to put in to see the fruits of
Mm-hmm.
what I want. So your
Yep.
labor isn't matching what you want for your fruits.
Yep. I remember this is a funny story, but Drake had some song and he said that he tried to hide he hid the keys from this girlfriend he was dating at the time so she wouldn't keep putting mileage on like this Lamborghini or something. And he said that the girl ended up fighting. It was like this awkward silence. And that's how that awkward silence sometimes is, like talking to a client. It's like, hey, so I want to, get some updates. And then some clients would be like,
Mm.
man, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't got no updates. I ain't had no updates last week either. I just ain't got no updates. So
I ain't
then
had
what
none last week.
I
I ain't
no
gonna have
updates.
none this week, and I probably ain't gonna have none next week. But
Like I
then that
ain't
comes to
doing
a point
nothing.
too, like for you as a branding coach, then you wasting my time too. Because if I'm putting in
Yeah,
the work to help you build
yeah,
your personal brand,
yeah,
and on my end, I'm doing these things for you, and then you're
yeah.
not taking advantage of those things, then what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Because that's your, if this is like, this is your gift, Benny, and this is your passion. So it's like, for me, it starts to become like an insult. Like, what are we
Mm,
doing here? What are we doing here? You
mm.
don't want to work,
That's real
then you
talk.
gotta work to make
That's
it
real
work.
talk.
So
And that's the part that's like really you just hit it dead on because I want all of us to succeed. I want us to be rich because we all deserve to be rich. Like
absolutely,
there is
it's all
literally
here.
so
Everybody can be rich.
come on, it's all right there, y'all. And it's like the only thing, y'all, that's literally standing in your way is you. And you be wanting to point the finger at the marketing, the branding, the sales, the ads ain't working, and this is like, no, it's just you. Because if we can finally get you to start just showing up
You have
and
to.
you letting people know that you have something valuable to offer and you stop being scared, then now people finally have an opportunity to
To
see
know
how
who you
valuable you really
are.
are.
That happens. That happens to me at the event space because I would listen, Manny. I would go in, I would do their decorations, and I would dip before any of the clients come. Like I don't. Eric be like, "Well, they was looking for you." I'm like, "I ain't even got it today, right?" So then it was, it was a lady who wanted to book one of my higher end services for her wedding, and like she was talking to Eric back and forth, and then like they were, I was like, "Forget it, I'm about to just talk to this lady." So I called her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I finally got you on the phone." I was like,
Wow.
"Okay, let's just do this meeting real quick.
Yeah,
Meet me
yeah,
at
yeah,
the space." So she
yeah.
came to the space, and she booked right then and there. She was like, "I
Wow.
just wanted to meet the person who do all who do all the
Wow.
decorations and stuff." So that really made me understand that like
Mm.
people want to know who you are because
Yeah.
they want to know for real, like all intents and purposes. And all honesty, they want to know who they sending their money to. They want
Yeah.
to know who they paying.
Yep. Facts. Facts.
So, and
That's all
if you could,
right.
little, give them a little bit of your personality for them to, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just do a little thing for a
Yeah. Yep.
little thing.
I seen a guy today. This guy I follow, he said that your most valuable asset is your smile. And I think that it's like a whole bunch of other things,
Right.
not just your smile, but the smile is important too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we all got an amazing smile. And here's something about like personal development that I also had to take note of years ago. My teeth were crooked. I needed to get braces. I needed to get some work done to my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like the most horrible mouth in the world, but I was just like, I don't like it all like that.
Right. I could do
I know
something
if
with
I
that smile.
liked it more, then I would smile more. And
Mm-hmm.
now I can smile, I can be happy because I like my teeth, I like my smile. But before I used to do these all the time, like, yep,
Or like,
yeah, I understand, because I didn't want people to see my grill. But
right.
it's like there's these areas within you that you know that you can improve, and then once you do those things, you're gonna like you more, you're gonna show up in a
Absolutely.
more meaningful way. And
Absolutely.
it's not to say that everybody has to do these live videos, but if you can start doing some reels, if you can sneak in some live videos, they're going to automatically equate you with a successful person because ain't nobody just jumping on no live video. This just some average person on Instagram, y'all.
Listen, not for real. Not with a
Mm-mm.
purpose behind it
Not with a
anyway.
purpose behind it, right?
Like, yeah, for sure. And I thank you for being on mine, sharing all
Yeah.
your thousands of followers with me.
This
Just
is
sprinkle a little bit of them over here.
and hopefully y'all that's following me already, go follow Alicia. Please don't do it for me. Do it for yourself because you're gonna get some very, very valuable things on her page.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to a lot of the things that we will have on my page. We're going to be doing 5-Minute Fridays. So we will be talking about whatever is on my spirit, different books, different just personal things that I feel like I want to share. And then we can talk about them together in the collective. And, you know, I'll also be doing some other things that will be coming up that I'm working on. So I'm super excited about this platform and Dear Black Business, the love letter to success.
That's awesome.
So
All right,
thank you,
thank you.
Manny.
Thanks for
And
having me. I appreciate it.
absolutely. And tune in tomorrow. It's a little bit earlier tomorrow at 4:30. Actually, we'll be talking to Shantae Roddy. She's over She Boss Talk, which is a really big platform. And she's actually like worldwide. She's super international. She helps small businesses get capital. So she'll be on tomorrow talking about capital and things to look out for us as entrepreneurs.
All
Oh, that's
right.
it.
See you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Manny.